What's up?
Hey, internet, what's going on?
Hello,
What is going
internet.
on?
Oh, didn't see you
We
there.
are live. We are live.
We didn't step on your tail, did we?
We are live, and welcome to another episode of Carbonate Bound BS with me and the nerds here. How's everyone doing this week?
Oh,
Good.
fantastic, man.
Great.
Feeling great.
Absolutely.
Good, man. It's pretty crazy. Just as we went live, I just have some breaking news I'm going to bring onto the team here. So it's
Okay.
crazy what happens when we go live. But yeah, another episode of Bad Batch. Kind of we're starting that build up, so to speak, to the back half of the episodes. But other than Bad Batch, we had some very very interesting things happen this week as well. So other than the review, before we get into everything and some of the exciting things that we had going on as far as people in the channel as well, let's let DP let you guys know where to find us at.
Nerdcyclopedia.com, people. Make sure you go onto that website, your favorite website, where you get your favorite social media platforms to, chat at us and talk about us and everything. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and also on TikTok. If you are on YouTube, thank you for watching us on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and also hit that notification button. So anytime that we're on, you know that we're on. Make sure that you also share our podcast there. If you're on Facebook, thank you for watching us there. We also have a group called Carbonate Bounty BS, a Star Wars group. You get your favorite memes, you get your favorite commentary on your favorite Star Wars stuff, and be in a group with a bunch of different Star Wars fans. So you got to love it. Follow us and listen to us on podcasts. We are on iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play. Anywhere that you listen to your favorite podcast, we are there. And finally, give us some feedback. Nerds at Nerdcyclopedia. We love getting your feedback and reading on air for you.
I appreciate that. And it's crazy, what a week can do for us, right? Literally what a week can do. But yeah, we'll start things off a little different this week. Us being a nerd channel and we follow everything nerdtastic, we'll say. DP had an interesting weekend, so to speak. So DP, why don't you let everybody know how your weekend went and give us kind of a review of it.
Your boy went on a Disney cruise. the Mickey Mouse, the Mickey Mouse, and I can't do it as well as him, but but yeah, he was in the house. So what'd you say?
Did you get some new ears? You gotta get ears.
The kids got some ears. I should have got some ears. To represent for the pod here and everything. But yeah, we went on a Disney cruise. It was a 3-day cruise. Unfortunately, we didn't make it to the Bahamas because of weather and everything, but we did get to see Disney Island. Wow, Disney owns its own island, so that was crazy to see. It was really good. Not the greatest of weather and everything, but we still got on our shorts and got to be on the beach and everything, see all the blue sea and all that stuff. But yeah, they had their own island, and it was a bunch of people there, still packed. The cruise ship itself was immaculate. It was the new one called the Wish. It was about 7 months old. Is that right, T Mitch?
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah, it's about a few months old. So it's their newest, cruise ship and everything. Needless to say, it was packed on there. They had so many great stuff, involved with that. And I'm not a Disney, lifer or anything like that, where I'm just like, oh, pro Disney this. I was anti-Disney years ago. I was anti-Disney before they got before they purchased the MCU. I was very anti-Disney. I was like, what is Mickey Mouse? He's going to ruin the whole Marvel thing. But we had a good time on there. It was a pro Marvel dinner. For us Marvel fans, that love Marvel, we got really, marveled up, Ant-Man and, Endgame and, all that stuff they were showing on the different screens and stuff. It was just crazy. They had silverware with little Avengers logos and stuff on there. I should have took one home. I was so mad that I did not. But that was
no. They have police. They'll take that back.
Yeah, they probably had cameras just all around. It was like a whole Avengers, compound thing in there. But yeah, it was just so nice. I have to say the cleanliness of the ship was just. I've been on cruises before. I've been on a lot of cruises. The last one I went before this was Celebrity Cruise, and I was not impressed with that. I sort of like, had me put off on going on cruises again until I got on this one. And, Disney, they changed my mind. They have like a bathroom attendant on almost all the bathrooms to make sure that anytime someone comes in there and goes out, it's clean as if it was never, no one ever, been in there before. It was great. The children that, my kids, they had a, great time. The family had a good time. Some really great, shows there. They had the Little Mermaid, Aladdin. They had a Goofy thing, at the beginning of the, the first night and everything. But I was really impressed with their Aladdin and Little Mermaid shows. And I'm not into those at all, but just the whole production of it. Disney was not sketching on anything. They made sure that you were highly entertained. And even though we didn't go in the Bahamas, they still made sure that everyone was happy and, joyful and, made sure that everybody was taken care of throughout the day with different activities and everything. So I would go on it again, and I'm back to going on cruises and stuff now. So, it was a good thing. It was a good experience.
Oh, that's really well. Good. Yeah. I mean, I've been on it. So I'm waiting to go on my second one, which would be what is the silver level for Castaway Club. So we're automatically enrolled once we go on one in the Castaway
Okay.
Club. So second, we get like a gift or something. So excited for that. But yeah, I mean, fun week for you. We also got a big reveal on what was that? The wild card of the football. They showed Mando trailer, which was it's funny because they've been they kind of held us hostage. If you watched it, they said it was going to come out at 8:15, and then I don't know, viewership was low, and then it was like, oh yeah, stay tuned until halftime. So of course, I turned the game off until halftime. But very interesting trailer. You guys caught it all?
Yep.
Everybody get to see it?
Yep. Liked it. Yeah.
I didn't see
Very
it because
nice.
I'm a loser.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hitch. I even put in the chat for you.
Sorry, guys. I know you put it there, and I haven't had a chance. It's just been,
It's on this thing called Disney Plus. You can watch it anytime you want now.
I deserve this.
Go ahead and
I'm willing to
You can just watch it. You don't have to watch a football game that doesn't mean anything to you personally. You can just go on Disney Plus and watch it.
It's something called sleep regression in an
Right.
18-month-old that's really been taking up
It definitely
a
is.
vast majority of my time. So I'm a little slower than I probably should be, and that
all right.
is my fault. But
Well, we're gonna ruin the entire trailer.
go ahead, guys. Listen, this is again my fault. Hold on, I'll just go ahead and put up a placeholder, and you guys just have fun amongst yourselves.
So,
Yeah.
you know what I liked? I liked seeing Jedi in this. So I liked seeing the that now connection because for me, the light sword was always a Star Wars element. It was
Right.
something that made it Star Wars, and we hadn't seen it in Mandalorian except for the dark saber. So now we're going to see Jedi with the Mandalores,
A
and
little bit, yeah.
I mean, it was a great trailer. It had it had the music, brought it back, and we see Grogu now with power, with true power.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a great season.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't think
Grogu's-
I don't think we'll see too much Jedi. I thought that was more. I think that's going to be the rest of that flashback in the temple. So I think we're going to actually find out who saved Grogu, which will be really interesting. So because that cutting through that door, that was obviously Anakin, cutting through the door, getting those last Jedi. So I think it'll be an interesting. But I mean, the season itself and Hitch's back office. But I mean, the breaking news I got is Mando season 4 and potentially season 5. Season 4 is being written right now. Season 5 is in pre-production, depending on season 4 results. But season 4 is actually being written as we speak with Filoni and team. It's been confirmed by an ultra reliable source, not just a source, but an ultra reliable source. They've been writing it for they started writing it about a month ago, so they're in early production of that. Only spoilers I have is Grogu's identity reveal will be bigger than the Luke, I'm your father reveal. So the reveal of
He's already
Grogu's
revealed.
his true identity has not been revealed. That's not his real name either, from what I'm being told. So
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be good,
How
man. I
weird,
mean,
how
hey,
weird are they going to get here with this? I mean,
Yeah.
how?
there's only so many
Yeah.
places you can go. I think we know, but the tie-in will be should be pretty enjoyable. So, hey, I mean, that's you know,
I think the thing with
Yeah.
Grogu.
Okay. So Grogu is Batman.
I mean, we don't want to spoil this for Hitch, but I mean, on the trailer you saw him going to Camino. So let's start connecting dots, right?
I feel like there's a lot of I feel like it's pretty obvious when they say something like that. It's pretty obvious where they're going with it. I think it's great that they're going that direction. Makes a lot of sense. Timelines
does.
make a lot of sense. I'm all
Yeah.
for it. I'm all for stuff making sense in Star Wars. But yeah, I have not seen the trailer yet, which is why I docked myself. There's a couple minutes.
Well, hey, I mean, this is live. Can't you? We can stream it. We're not monetized on YouTube. If you want to put it on, you can.
Yeah, but I'd have to capture it, and I would have had to already do
Oh.
that. And again, I'm lazy and bad.
That's
at
all
this.
right.
If I had captured that, I would have watched this. We wouldn't have this problem.
Plus, I'm sure all our listeners and viewers and everything,
Sure.
they've probably seen this and everything before. Yeah, the Grogu thing that's fine. Sometimes I'm thinking that they have to have Grogu in here just to keep the Grogu storyline going. Because it's a moneymaker. It's a surprising moneymaker for him. I'm not begrudging them for doing that. I want to see a lot more Mando, and I'm glad to see that we're going to see Mandalore in full form. And get to see like the back history and everything in live action. We've seen it in like the animated stuff. I'm loving the progression into the live action with Mandalore, and I've been asking for that ever since the what's her name? Craze. Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan?
Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious. Y'all gonna read me on that. Boca Raton. Yeah. Ever since they came, I'm like, okay, yes, we're getting more, stuff connected to like the animated stuff, and it's sort of continuing like those storylines, which is going to continue into, Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, all that stuff. So I love connection. I'm always for that. The trailer was nice. I'm just excited to see the fully formed stuff when it comes out. So
Right.
The trailer really didn't get me any more excited than I'm already with seeing the Mandalorian and everything. So I'm just biding my time until April 1st. Till March 1st.
Right. Yeah, we definitely all are. And we'll definitely get Hitch's live reaction next week.
Yeah,
So
you guys can boo the whole time. Boo, Hitchens, boo.
We'll get Hitch's
He doesn't know what he's
reaction.
talking about. All right, sorry guys.
No,
I'm
we're cool.
excited for more Grogu as the father of an 18-month-old. I will say that having a nice, easy item for somebody to buy, my kid, for me, that makes my life really easy. So we have a lot of Grogu merchandise. We don't have enough.
That's not a bad thing.
Never have any.
I'm not anti-Grogu, but Grogu's
No. He's growing on all of us, I think, right?
Yeah. He's a cool guy. He's a cool little guy and everything.
I want to see him come out of his shell. Like, I'm looking forward to this season as being his breakout. We're going to see who he is, his identity apart from Mando. I mean, he's like right now, everyone thinks he's this weak. He needs to be protected. He needs someone to look after him. So I want to see him hold his own, which it looks like he's going to. Looks like he's going to like hold his own and become his own individual presence. And, T. Mitch, like whatever leak you got, like, I don't know, like, where are they going to go with this? What surprise character are they going to say, oh, he's really this, They
don't know. I mean, it's just
he's Bruce Wayne.
They have sources. No, I mean, like I said, there's only a couple places it can be, but with the fact that they had certain areas and certain places, Dr. Pershing, there's been people in the trailer. I mean, it only leads to really one path. It's just how they, I guess, execute.
Two words for how they can make this perfect. Yoda sex.
Ooh.
I want to see a whole mini-series about how Yoda had sex. I want them to show me all the build-up. I'm sure there's a lot of recovery time involved. I want to see the whole thing.
Yeah. It's probably a slow process too.
But Jedi don't. Jedi
that's
all aside.
That's what I would say. Like, what Ken's going to, if he were to even do that though, wouldn't that be like, kind of hypocritical on his part?
Totally, totally.
So, I mean, who knows? Maybe that can be part of, if that were the way they would go, that could lead to the downfall of the Jedi Council, right? Your Grand Master's lying to
The
everybody,
whole, the whole point, the whole reason this happened is because Yoda had a sex scandal in like
right?
100 years BBY.
It was in the National Enquirer front page.
They kept talking about how they couldn't get rid of him. Like embattled Jedi Master Yoda still in charge after years of investigations into allegations of inappropriate conduct.
You were
You
talking
gotta
about
have that voice.
that guy, Yeah.
Remove me from office, you cannot.
You gotta have that voiceover.
Her dress,
So
We need a voiceover from what was that, Clone Wars? We need that voiceover to read a scandal out. You know the guy who let
Right. The movie guy.
Yeah,
Jedi Master
In Clone
Yoda.
Wars.
yeah.
The
That's what we need.
clones do it again.
Yeah.
Yoda. Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You can't leave him alone with anybody, Yoda.
Oh,
Yeah. But leading into this week's episode, one voice I definitely am tired of hearing, and DP has alluded to this, is Omega's I don't know, adolescent voice. Like,
I don't know. She's great. I have to watch these episodes with the subtitles on because I don't know what the hell she's saying. Accent
Correct.
is so
yeah.
odd. It's really odd.
It's like caught in between two minds, and it's funny, Ken, that you said that because this episode I did watch the subtitles on because, like, yeah, it's getting to be a little much for me, and I'm pretty
It's a little
patient with
weird.
this.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a little weird.
They took it back with this episode. Like we were talking about off mic about this being like the prequel, homage to the prequel and everything. And for the most part, the intensity of the race and everything was decent,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a good character development episode for Tech, So that was, it was short. And it was straight up to the point, or like your procedural and everything. You get in, you do a mission and get out,
Mm-hmm.
and we get some character development when one of our major characters, and I'm sure we're going to see that come, playing later down the line and everything. So I didn't mind it. I wasn't my favorite, especially coming off last week. I think last week was a high for me. And then this week was sort of like a letdown, but still, Star Wars. It was still good, but not great for me. And yeah, Omega. Okay.
Great, but it had a great character, Teo.
Yep.
Awesome, awesome antagonist, and hero. I mean, this droid encompassed everything that I think Lucas wanted to see a droid do in this Star Wars universe. It was a storyteller. You were engaged. I mean, everything this guy. I was crushed to see that he finally powered down at the end. I mean, I was like, come on, bring this guy back. Come on, Tech. You can bring him back. He told you how to connect the servos. He told you how to rebuild him. I mean, and a spectacled spectator.
That line was funny.
Burn. Robot burn.
Even Wrecker thought it was
Yeah.
funny, and Wrecker doesn't have much of a sense of humor, does he? He doesn't think much is funny, and he thought that was hilarious. I mean, I thought this episode was, like we said, it brought back, it sort of connected to the prequel, The Phantom Menace, car racing, a huge important piece of George Lucas's life is racing.
Yeah.
Anything going fast. American Graffiti, THX 1138. I mean, these movies, his early movies had racing in it, and I think this was just a nice little, just a nice little drop that kind of connected things a little bit, connected the universes a little bit. I mean, I'm a NASCAR guy. I like anything that goes fast, and to see droids and to see protocol droids, to see battle droids and other aliens that we kind of like get to know through the Star Wars universe racing these speeders. I mean, I thought it was a brilliant drop, a brilliant story, just to sort of show that the Bad Batch guys are just taking missions wherever they can get them and make some cash, make some credits, do what they had to do. I mean, it fit. As long as episode 5 kind of builds on it, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm sure episode 5 will probably be more Hunter and they went on their side mission, so we'll probably get like a similar timeline, but maybe like where Hunter went and where they stayed at. Because I mean, yeah, it was an interesting episode. I mean, to me, it brought out really. I mean, and it's crazy because they use some of these, I think, shows as tests, but like this to me shows like once again Filoni's diversity, right? To once again like kind of remix something that George did with episode 1 in a pod racing race, and he kind of shows kind of like his. It's almost like somebody like kind of showing their skills off, right? Kind of like his homage, right? I mean,
flexing.
yeah,
Flexing.
right. I mean, because it was something. It was kind of like borderline the similar thing, but on a different take. And it wasn't. It's so Star Wars. It fits right in, right? You don't be like, that was too much. It was unrealistic. Everything he does kind of just slides right into place, and nobody questions it, which is great storytelling. And it's kind of like it's something we always ask for, whether it's Star Wars, whether it's Star Trek, which I don't watch. Any kind of Marvel series, we want when a producer leaves or maybe an executive to leave for somebody else to pick up the tools. DC's been trying it for like 15 years now, but literally like in the Star Wars universe, they have a fan that's literally a fan and a student of of the
That's
trade.
the key word right there. Student of George Lucas. I mean, it was the reason why Lucas had him as a mentor. I mean, he was a mentor to Filoni. So yeah, he gets it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so everything he does, it fits, right? And you don't question anything he does. Maybe some of the other producers and some of the work they do and some of the different way they take it, but anything that Filoni's attached to, like, no matter how basic it is to me, he always keeps me intrigued.
Yeah,
always.
I think part of the genius of Filoni is that he has these really interesting characters, like Teo, for instance. This character who is in one scene saying I'm an artist, like this robot saying I'm an artist in one scene, and then they're just like, we turned it off. Like in the next scene, it's like, we just flipped the switch, it's done. Moving on. And it's like moving on to this other thing that the real episode is about, and they just kind of shove it to the side, which is exactly how they always treat droids in the Star Wars universe. Very, 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 very funny that they did that, and I like how this accomplishes all the things that the pod race scene in episode 1 accomplished. It set the stakes. It took up a bunch of time that otherwise would have been spent in a boring location doing nothing.
Right.
And, it really developed our interest in seeing what Tech does. I mean, Tech has been just this sort of like, I don't know, almost like an R2-D2 with a voice in certain parts of this series. And, seeing Tech develop this sort of, I don't know, like this is the hobby that Batman had in the Dark Knight Returns, right? This is what Batman got into, is car racing. So seeing this is really interesting. And Tech also found a way to win by going against conventional wisdom, by becoming faster, lighter, and less cumbersome. He was able to win when nobody else could. So I think that's really, really neat. And this episode, was there a lot of meat to it? No. But it wasn't formulaic. It wasn't super duper predictable, because they did let the droid get taken out by some random thing like halfway through it.
I think that was planned. I think Hirigi, whatever that guy, the other gangster, planned that. I mean, took that guy out, because you don't just go into the pits at full speed for no reason. Think about that. He was in basically any vehicle moving in that place was supposed to be going like 2 miles an hour, and this thing came full blast. So I think that was calculated. I think that was a terrorist hit. And yeah, even the way he walked up and said, "Oh, what's wrong with your racer? He looks like he's seen better days. I guess the bet is off." So this is the whole Watto Anakin thing. I mean, there's so much here. I mean, you can't dismiss all the
it was great pandering. The droid was great too. I'm not gonna lie. I liked the droid's personality. It was ironic how he the lesson he taught Tech, and Tech, took it upon himself. The droid teaching, the human with the clone, I should say, the droid teaching the clone how to work outside his comfort zone and everything. This is a droid, who's supposed to be programmed to go a certain way, but this was a droid teaching him that, and Tech taking that to heart and everything. So I like that full circle, that came, that was a lesson taught in this episode and everything. And the great thing about Star Wars is always about lessons being taught. It's something that even though Andor was great as it was, the core part about Star Wars, I think, is that it teaches lessons. I think that's something that, George just had in this thing about getting to the root of a character and their personality and learning something about themselves along the way and everything. This episode, it was good. Now that I'm talking about it, was a good episode, for Tech. So I love the character development as far as that. And like, the pandering and stuff that, if you want to call it that, but it's just like T Mitch said, it's Filoni just fitness, just keeping us keeping us reminded that we're still in Star Wars. We're still Star Wars. This is Star Wars that we're watching. And you just can't, no matter how much, maturity that you try to put upon it and everything, you still have to bring it back to its core elements.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and they did it so well. I mean, it was such everything made sense. You had little moments like with the pit droids arguing, with the chess game at the beginning between Omega and Wrecker. I mean, these things just reminded me of the original, the original movies, the original, the animated series, something in Clone Wars, something in early Bad Batch. I mean, it's all coming together. And the triumph at the end, like the heroes win. They actually win. They succeed when everyone thought they were out.
Who didn't see that coming, Teoken?
Well, even at the end of the pod race with Anakin and Sebulba, it looked bad it looked bad for a few moments there, and all of a sudden Anakin found a way to win, and not cheat. He actually won by skill. So Tech won by skill, not by cheating. Mm-hmm. He was able to subvert the crunch. What they call that? Yeah, the crunch technique. And he got around it, and they crunched each other, and he won the race. I mean, it was clean, beautifully done. And you know what? It's funny you mentioned DP. You mentioned Andor because when this episode ended, it was recommended to me to watch Andor. So,
I mean, that's like clairvoyance right there. For the most part and everything, they know what you need.
What I should be doing next in my life. So basically, the next 10 to 15 years of my life is mapped out exactly what I should be watching
on Disney Plus.
Hey Ken, why don't you give us a quick, tell us why you should be watching Andor and why we should be watching with you. Just real quick.
Because it's the great stuff. It's the best stuff, and Cassian Andor is just he's like the next Han Solo.
He's a rebel with a cause.
He's a rebel with a cause instead of a rebel without a cause.
Oh man!
How about
Cassian Andor takes one freshman philosophy class and all of a sudden thinks that he's the savior of the entire universe, which makes him every single college freshman that took a philosophy class. There, I said it.
I wonder. Okay, so the folks that's growing up on Star Wars now, the kids and everything, that's not really seeing like the prequel stuff, the middle, the 4, 5, and 6 and everything. That's growing up on Andor. That's growing up on Clone Wars and stuff. How do you guys think they're looking at the Skywalkers? Do you think that they start with this and then go back and find, they're looking at that as a historical, well, it's old. Skywalker.
Yeah, no, they got to get a comfort level with it. Like they can
Right.
get real comfortable with the new stuff, but then they got to go back and see where it all came from because the Skywalkers are mentioned, and there's some other. Maybe they aren't. Maybe we could just write the Skywalker timeline out of this altogether.
Okay.
DP,
Okay.
I know where you're going with this, DP, and I'm gonna give you what you want, right? Because let's be honest, right? We're gonna hot take. They're not watching it. let's just
And
cut out
that's
the fluff.
terrible. And that's terrible.
Let's just cut out the fluff. Let's cut it out, right? Let's be honest. They're not watching. The new fans are going from Mando to this to Ahsoka. I mean, let's be honest. They're not watching 4, 5, and 6.
Not unless they recommend it. So when they finish watching
Well, I mean,
Mandalorian, hey, you should watch A New Hope. Well, what the hell is that?
Yeah, exactly. They're just hit the button, the back button on the remote to turn it back. Like, nah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll try something else and everything. I mean, it's kind of aching to you got LeBron and everything nowadays. In fact, LeBron is kind of old. You got like
LeBron's about to set the scoring record this week, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that happening like tomorrow?
Yeah, something like that. So you
old.
got so people think he's the greatest of all time. Then you got comparisons to Michael Jordan and everything, and Bill
Russell.
Bill Russell and everything. So are the kids thinking, okay, well, that was Anakin. He's old now, Or it's all about Andor today. It's all about Ahsoka today and everything. So now we're in a place where we could compare generations of Star Wars characters with previous ones, from when it started. And if they keep with this historical context, I mean, the characters down the line, it's going to just be comparisons on the characters of the time and everything, So I wonder if I mean, it would be a great question to ask kids or whatever, but I just wonder how they compare, or do they look at like Anakin and Luke as old fogey characters?
Yeah, like
DP,
they never existed. They never existed. They weren't even.
DP, I think this will be something for probably your kids and Ken because they're younger. Mine are older, but this is something that I will say that has been in maybe a difference in storytelling. So when you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the pacing for my kids that are older even is so slow that they lose focus, right? So it's a different time of storytelling. The difference I will say between 7, 8, 9, as much as I hated them, is the pacing was so fast because they would literally jump from planet to planet, scene to scene, character to character. So it would keep their attention a little more because the pacing was so all over the place. The older stuff got us because we cared about story more. We weren't in a hurry to leave the theater, right? So I think that's the only real difference is the pacing. Because I mean, when we went back and we watched them, to think about like one, bro, it's like as Hit said, it's like 2 hours and 10 minutes of like what it just happened. And then we have 5 minutes of a lightsaber fight.
And a podcast race or a pod race.
And Jar Jar.
Podcast race.
Podcast race. And they're off. It's just Greg Proops doing a podcast. That's what that.
Yep.
That scene is. I think, but you have to also remember that, like, if you look at the older stuff, they have to sort of hold your hand and explain to you what crap is. Like, they can't just, like, if I say a Death Star to you, you have a whole lot of like preconditions and notions, and like if I do this, you can probably see it floating in my hand, spinning around, like like when Dooku grabs the plans, right? You can just see it spin around there. You couldn't have done that, in 1977, and you couldn't have said no context whatsoever. You couldn't say, oh, here's a Jedi Council in 1992. There was none. So you have to introduce these concepts. But now Star Wars is a much more mature property. It has a lot more hours of content in it. I mean, when we're talking the stuff that we fell in love with, for me, I mean, we're talking 7.5 hours tops, and that's it. That's done. They're doing that in one season of Andor. Andor was 12 hours long. So I think we really have to think for a second about what exactly is the content of Star Wars as a body. And as we sort of go further and further down in the iceberg, we're getting to the point where more and more of the content is modern. And so, if you look at the timeline where the Last Generation or the Old War, that's the prequel series right now. So we're right in smack in that time frame where we should be talking about the events of the original trilogy and recasting them in with new information, which I think they're doing now. I think Andor is maybe the first real, cut at that, and really redefining the rebellion, redefining the Rebel Alliance, and changing our perception of the movies that we grew up with. Rogue One fleshed that story out, but did it change it? Is it very different because of anything that was revealed to us? I would say not really. Like, we don't find out any secrets that blow up any of the movies or make anyone's motivations seem different. At the end, Leia's running away from Vader. They've got the plans and they're trying to hide him. And that's literally exactly how episode 4 starts. Andor is doing something different. Andor is making us reconsider what we think about the Empire itself. Reconsider, for one, what type of economic strain building this Death Star put the Empire under, and how urgently they needed bodies and material, and that like the building of the Death Star is the impetus for all the, restrictive measures of the Empire, which is the impetus for the rebellion. You know what I mean? And seeing that all fleshed out, I think changes a lot about what you think about it, how the rebellion relates to the Empire in the original movies.
Yeah. And so I think the true nerds that are watching all this new stuff are going to want to go back.
I believe that too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And watch where it came from.
Right.
They're going to want to watch the unedited, no special edition, original versions of these stories to see how this all evolved and what started this whole mechanism, this lifestyle. I mean, there's folks out there that live this. I mean, we all live it to a certain extent, but there are folks out there that live it to the point where they dress, they cosplay the whole thing. I mean, they really deep dive into it. So there's people out there that are going to go back and watch the original films and want to see where it all came from. And it's all available on Disney Plus. You can watch it, and they suggest it at the end of every episode you just watched. Even that Grogu Dust Bunny episode, they suggested I watch Rogue One, and I failed to see the connection. Like, I failed to see how Grogu making friends with dust bunnies led me to Rogue One. I didn't get it. I watched it anyway, but whatever.
As long as you're following the orders, Ken, I don't think they really care.
Yeah.
What's crazy though about what you say, Ken? I mean, it is very true about a lot of people, even older than us, that are being drawn in to Star Wars since Disney bought them. I don't know how many people I've seen in the last 3 to 5 years with like rebellion stickers on their back window of their cars, like different Star Wars stuff. I've ate out a couple times recently, right? And I've seen like Mandalorian, like Creed, like tattoos on people's wrists, like your hat. I'm sitting there like, wow, like it's really taken to that level that I've seen people actually got new tattoos of newer properties, newer IPs of Star Wars literally on their body that, just because of this new content and just because how people have taken into it, right? We talk about like how we feel about it, but I mean, it's like you're saying, it's really went to a whole nother level than I could even imagine, to be honest, in a short amount of time.
Yeah,
since Mando, man.
Right? Yeah, it's really
Mando was a great catalyst and everything. And it's so great that they, got that taken off because it showed you that it was a different side of the universe, other than Luke Skywalker and his tail and everything. Sure, we got Rey and Finn and all that and everything, but Mando, that was a and remember, that was around the time when COVID started happening. Everybody was like, in a state and everything. Disney Plus first came out, Mando was like his launching pad. So that just had everybody drawn in, to watch that thing. And it was new Star Wars content. It's like, what the heck? This
weird
is
coincidence of things, wasn't it?
Huh?
Like weird coincidence, right? COVID, we were locked down, and all we could watch was Disney Plus and Mandalorian. Did the mouse? Did the mouse plan this? Like in some sort of
Yeah.
Because I mean, think about it. The timing was perfect.
Yeah. It sure was. It got them a hell of a lot of subscribers really quickly.
Really quick, because now you had kids at home that
Where
didn't really
Peacock
have
is
much.
struggling right now.
Yeah. I mean, kids at
What's
home.
that?
What are you gonna do?
Huh? Oh.
What's that? Hitch caught the joke. Peacock.
The poor Peacock.
Yeah. But no, I mean, yeah, guys, the times have definitely changed, and it's definitely been interesting to see these properties pick up. I mean, as we say, we're on Bad Batch episode 4. There's what this season? Is there 10 episodes they're doing?
I think it's more than that, because last season wasn't it like 12 or 13 or 14 or something?
Something like, I don't know if they were splitting it in half, like doing a 3-part 1, part 2.
16.
It's 16.
Yeah,
Yeah, like a lot of
I
episodes.
don't, yeah. I don't know if they're running them all together, if we'll get a typical mid-season break type feel. But yeah, I mean, that's a lot of content. That leads literally smack dab into, as we talk about Mandalorian and then other properties. And obviously we're about a month out, as we rightly say with Disney TV, that we've now notified daily that Ant-Man is coming out. Ant-Man and the Quantumania. So I get my daily update of that movie coming up. So we definitely have a lot of content coming out in the nerd stratosphere, which is exciting, right? It's always fun.
Anything nerdy,
Anything, right? But before we go, something that hit me, because obviously we talk about the sequel trilogy, right? And it's just like, it was one of those things, we talk about A-list actors and people we'd want to see. Kind of watching Andor and seeing how Andor was, it might be the craziest hot take in the world, but based on how this actor is, I 100% can see, like, I can honestly see, if he was younger it would work, but like Tom Cruise playing like Cal Kestis. Like, when you watch his stuff like Mission Impossible, the guy does his own stunts, like, super active. I think Tom Cruise would be a great character in Star Wars, whether it be a villain or a Jedi.
Kyle Kestis says, like, what, he's 80 years old or what?
No, I mean, he's Cameron Monaghan. I get it, and he's younger. He looks the part.
He's
but I'm saying,
redheaded.
like, that type of character, like, because you see the stuff he does. I mean, like Mission Impossible.
Not as Cal Kestis.
No, but like that type of
like
character.
him.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
I think Tom Cruise. No, that's Cameron Monaghan for sure.
Yeah.
And hopefully he gets.
Tom Cruise should be someone like either like Exar Kun or like
Right.
some Sith Lord, or he should be like the face of the Jedi Order for whatever that character's lifespan is, some 15, like a long time before this time, just because that's the type of thing he's doing, and it would allow him to explore that part of his life that he has kept hidden from the rest of the world for reasons that are probably good, and be someone who is seen as almost a messianic character. I think that could be a really great part for Tom Cruise to play.
Yeah.
And I think there's probably a whole mess of great parts for him to play. I mean, goodness, just somebody that poor Han Solo knockoff runs into. Just anything for that poor Han Solo to jazz up whatever that next movie could be. I want to see that happen. Deep fake Harrison Ford. Do it. Just do it. With what we all want to see, do it.
That'd be smart, yeah. Because
especially after what they're doing with Indiana Jones 6.
Oh,
If it's going to look that good.
yeah.
Can't wait for that one.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done. I'm sorry, guys.
All right. No,
Just yelling.
that's what we talk about, and that's something we'll get into. We'll have to bring up another Nerd Psycho show as well to catch things up. Like I said, we're a month out from Ant-Man, and we'll have our reactions to that obviously in the next month. But yeah, we'll have things kicking off on all our platforms. As DP tells you regularly, please interact with us on Facebook and all our different platforms, as we do appreciate the feedback. And yeah, guys, any final thoughts before we dip off this week into a galaxy far, far away?
Looking forward to the next episode. Hopefully, it gets back into some deep, dark, Imperial stuff.
Well, we'll get the band back, because the other two batch, they're off completing their mission.
Yeah.
Apparently delivering some sort of space nugget of some sort. Like, I don't know, some sort of space chicken McNugget of some sort. So we'll see them back, and then we'll get probably another mission with
Yeah.
Sid. Sid is going to send them off somewhere, and they're going to have to develop themselves as a team now. And I still think Bullseye is going to come back to them. Crosshair. Sorry, Bullseye. Bullseye. That's Will Smith, right? Bullseye.
No,
I think that's
Deadshot.
Colin Farrell.
You're thinking about
Deadshot.
yeah,
Colin
Dead-
Farrell's
Dead-
Bullseye.
Deadshot Suicide Squad. You're right.
Yeah, it's Deadshot.
Deadshot.
So,
Bullseye is Marvel Daredevil. You know,
Daredevil. Okay, so Crosshair, right,
Yeah,
is going to come back and not be with the Empire anymore. I think the band is going to get back together here at the end of the season.
Whoa!
End of the season, okay, maybe at the end, not so soon.
Not next week.
Yeah,
No, not next week.
not in a couple weeks and everything.
We're gonna give it some time because they're gonna get a mission. They're like, we need him. We need him back, and they're gonna know how to communicate with him, and they're gonna get him back because I feel like the Empire is not appreciating him, and he's a guy that needs to be appreciated.
I got to see some empathy somewhere with Crosshair before he gets back with the gang and everything. He's out there killing just because that's his job. And I cannot stand the Empire. I mean, that's just a prerequisite. Come on this program.
Guess what, DP? The Empire's in charge right now. They are in charge of the whole universe.
Oh,
They got
that's right, DP. It's not just the Empire; it's your Empire.
They got me on
Everybody's
the
empire.
cruise, they got
That's
me
the
3
Empire
days
for
in-
everybody, not just some
It's
people.
not just your empire; it's my empire.
You gotta remember that. And Sheev Palpatine cares about you. That's who cares about you.
He
Sheev.
cares deliberately about you.
Sugar Daddy Sheev. Oh man.
But no, man, yeah, guys, another exciting episode. And we lead in the episode 5 after Ken watches Andor again tonight. Another
Again.
12 hours of Andor, so that'll put him at waking up at 11 a.m. tomorrow after this to
What are you gonna do, Ken, when you watch one of these things and it just says like at the end, "Go to bed, Ken"?
Is there an
Just go to-
episode 2?
just go to bed.
That's enough, Ken. Just go to bed.
Just go to bed, like
That'll be the end of my subscription, I guess.
I guess, right?
I guess that's the end. That's end of life, end of line.
Like,
Now we're gonna have to do Tron. We haven't even
Come on now.
talked about Tron.
I
I
like
haven't,
that.
I
I like
haven't
that
heard
last Tron
any of
movie.
you guys.
Tron Legacy.
like
So
that.
I'll say because that's for another podcast, but Tron Legacy is like top three movies of all
I like
time.
that.
for me.
I like that movie a lot. I
Tron Legacy
realized
is
it was
good.
Disney afterwards and everything. So.
I'd be willing to do a review of Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
an interesting film.
Yeah. And of course, we'll be doing live reviews from the Mouse's house when Tron opens. So, we'll get some footage for you guys for that as well. But yeah, guys, until next week, this is the way.
Is the way.
This is the way.